What's up everyone? In today's video I'll be giving you some gameplay for the Season 3 Battle Pass reward, the Voroshilov. Voroshilov? Let's just bring it to Google to check out its native language and see how it's really pronounced. Okay, let's go over here. And then... okay, let's bring it to its native language.
Voroshilov.
Oh wait, that's German. Wait, that's not our timeline. Okay, never mind.
Voroshilov.
Okay, Voroshilov. Wait.
Voroshilov.
Voroshilov. Okay. Okay, so now that we all know how to pronounce...
Voroshilov.
Wait, wrong timeline. Whoops. Let's get into how this thing is actually kind of performing. And it's a rank 4, 5.7 BR light cruiser. It has 9... 180mm cannons, which is actually quite potent for a heavy cruiser, and it fires 5 rounds per minute, so about one every 12 seconds or so. It's very potent. Those are very large guns for a heavy cruiser, and it does actually move fairly quickly, 78 kilometers per hour, but it has a small crew, a fairly lightweight, and as a trade-off kind of for these large cannons, the fast speed, and really all of that, it doesn't really have too much armor, and again, it is fairly slow to fire. So for comparison, the Nuremberg, which is my favorite light cruiser in-game by far, that's not the Nuremberg, this is, it fires 12 rounds per minute, albeit with somewhat smaller cannons, 15 centimeters rather than 18 centimeters, 12 rounds per minute as opposed to 5. So it is dramatically faster firing, and it sits at the same BR, and in my opinion is, well, arguably more effective. I mean, even with those smaller cannons, just because of the massive rate of fire. Even the Prinz Eugen, which I have here, it fires 20.3 centimeter cannons, 5 rounds per minute, which is equivalent to the whatever the heck its name is. So this is a really, questionable thing at 5.7. However, it does play pretty well. It might look kind of questionable in practice, and this vehicle, this vessel, will actually do quite well in getting you all of your Battle Pass challenges season in and season out, especially if they involve cruisers or higher BR ships. So definitely you guys want to check this out, but that being said, let's get into some gameplay. Okay, let's start the shebang bang, and yeah, anyways, a lot of you I know don't play, Naval, but hey, it is what it is. I actually really enjoy Naval, and oddly enough, I think that Naval is probably best, in, whatchamacallit, arcade, believe it or not, just because it's, I don't know, it's just, I wouldn't say at the, oh wow, I've been up-tiered big time. I wouldn't say if the difficulty is really necessarily all that much worse, but, it is pretty bad. So, anyways, that being said, I'll just kind of go back to what I was saying in the, man, this thing fires slow. Let's just go back to what I was saying in the intro. Basically, I would rather take, wow, I missed every single one of those. I would rather take the Nuremberg 10 times out of 10 over this thing, and even though my Nuremberg isn't even fully upgraded, I would take it 10 times out of 10 over this based on my thus far my gameplay experience with this. Now I'm not saying that the Voroshilov is bad, Voroshilov, whatever. It's just It's too lightly armored, even for a light cruiser, in my opinion. Ooh, there's another foe over here. Go for him. And, I don't know, his torpedoes aren't great. They're okay. I feel like German torpedoes are probably a little bit better. Maybe I'm just more used to them. But, it's got a good amount of cannons, a good amount of, good cannons, a good amount of cannons. It's got good reload. Well, decent reload for the size of the cannons, but not great. It's got decent armor, but as you can see there, I mean, not that great. And the speed's actually pretty good. It just doesn't really have many crew either, but when it hits its mark, especially on a lower BR opponent, it's not bad. It's just, you kind of have to hope that you're only facing light cruisers, and regardless of whether or not I do well in this match, which honestly, I don't suspect I will, just because you can see how easily this thing's getting walloped. I was getting walloped like this even when I was the top tier ship a few matches ago. you know, you can count this almost like a mini review. Like, the guns are plenty potent. As you can see, the top ranking shells go through 400 millimeters of armor. That's actually really good. I mean, even amongst shells that are larger in this, that's not bad. I think my Nuremberg is, not Nuremberg, my Prinz Eugen is fairly comparable to that with its top ranked shells. So, realistically speaking, I mean, you're not doing poorly with a lot of the aspects of this ship. And it's just, and then you just start sinking. It's just so, oh my gosh. This is a much larger ship than, I'll just bring it out again, the Nuremberg, just because. It's a much larger ship than the Nuremberg in terms of length. And it's only a few tons heavier, which, I mean, that's a big sort of warning sign right there. It's not all too much larger, or not too much heavier than the Nuremberg, which in my opinion is amazing. The best light cruiser for my money in the game right now, from my experience. And this is only a little bit heavier, but disproportionately longer. And it has heavier cannons. And it's just, you can really tell that they give up on a lot of armor. This thing cannot take punishment at all. So after this match, I'm sure I'm going to die fairly soon. Realistically speaking, I probably fired a little bit too forward. He's not moving that fast. Actually, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe I did okay. But realistically speaking, I don't really think I'm going to do all that well in this match. You know, the one upside about this tank, this ship, buoyancy is critical. What? I have that set on auto. The one good thing about this ship, above anything else, is that it does actually have an okay armament for being a light cruiser. But I don't know why I would use this, a light cruiser. Wow, I got the kill. I mean, of course, he was almost dead anyways. But, whatever. I don't know why I would use this, again, like a light cruiser over, I don't know, any heavy cruiser in game of or around this BR. It makes no sense. Like, I could see why I would use, if I have access to other ships, of course. Like, I could see why somebody would use, and I'll say it again, the Nuremberg, or even the Emden, or the Köln. I think that this is closer to the Emden or the Köln, which I think are lower PR than this. Like, this is closer to them, and I really just don't see the point in this ship. Because as soon as someone figures out, wow, this guy's got the Voroshilov, and, you know, as soon as someone figures out that you are using this ship, especially if they're in a heavy cruiser, you're going to get killed. If they know exactly what you are, this thing is easy. It is a fish in a barrel. It doesn't go as fast as you know, as it says it would. You know, of course, I'm spending most of my time in this match sinking. But even in a regular match, I mean, it's just not that great. It's got decent maneuverability. I mean, the thing that really suits this ship more than anything else. Wow. Okay, I got 2 kills. Not bad, I guess. Like I said, I mean, his cannons are actually not bad. But when it comes to survivability, something that matters so much in ships, I mean, a lot, this does not have it. Like, I'm lucky I'm alive. The last time anything like what just happened to me happened, well, to me while I was using this ship, I sank in like 2 minutes. So, but I'm not trashing on its guns. This is not a bad ship, but you have to stay behind enemy lines. There's no doubt about it. This thing cannot survive at the front. It just is not good enough at all in terms of armor. I mean, this thing has, like, I mean, it's not destroyer level armor, but it's not much better. But either way, let's just go around this island. I'm, you know, trying not to trash talk. I probably won't do too many matches, maybe like 1 or 2, just to kind of show this off, because this is the Battle Pass vehicle after all, and I think that a lot of people are probably interested in this, whereas, oh wow, I did no damage, of course. Whereas a lot of other ships, they might not be interested in. Now I'm going to turn. Oh wow. You know, obviously they might not be interested in, for example, the Graf Spee, because the Graf Spee is a 5.7 heavy cruiser that you actually have to grind for, whereas this, you just have to do well enough in some challenges. So this is something that you can get, just complete some Battle Pass challenges in this season or new seasons, whatever season you're in. This can probably complete some Battle Pass challenges. Its AA is pretty good. So if you actually make it to the part of the match where you're facing a lot of aircraft, it's not bad. But obviously, I'm not really. Is he gonna dive on me? Maybe not. Okay, let's try it again. He's just sitting there, all sneaky like. But yeah, I mean, as of right now in game, I'd be willing to bet that the Germans probably have the best ships in game. Oh wow, that way overshot. Probably have the best ships in general, like the best cruisers, as far as I could tell. The Japanese have really good cruisers too. They've got the best torpedoes by far in game. I mean, like, not even close how good they are. But it is what it is. I think the Germans are the most well balanced. They've got good firepower, good armor, good speed. The Graf Spee is a little bit iffy because it's got really strong cannons and really slow to fire cannons. But if you can land a hit with that, you are going to absolutely annihilate. Oh, geez. This might spell the end for me. Yes, it will. My greatest enemy. Planes. Okay, so yeah, this is probably going to be my last match in this thing. I know that there's, what, 2, maybe 3 matches, depending on what I decide to put in this gameplay video, but yeah, this is probably going to be my last match, and not because this is a bad ship or because I'm not having a good time playing it. I actually think it's pretty good, and I'm kind of surprised, you know, but it's just a very, how would I say this, unbalanced ship. Hopefully I can kind of shoot through. I can. Okay, time to switch over to that. So it's just very, very quick. Very heavily armed, and it doesn't have much in the way of armor or crew, for that matter. There's just a lot with this, and also naval battles take a very long time regardless. Whoa, he's firing a lot. I gotta get away from. Oh, geez, no. No. That's another thing with naval. It's like collisions are going to happen, and being that this is so poorly armored, if I'm in the middle of a bunch of ships as I am here, I cannot use my speed like I normally would, and as such, I'm being destroyed because their shells are missing this guy, Mudhog, in the USS Cleveland, and they're hitting me instead. So there's just a lot with it. The thing with this ship is, and I misstated it before, it is actually quite quick to accelerate, and while that's good, it also kind of serves as to a point a weakness, because if I'm trying to slow down, it doesn't really necessarily slow down very quickly, or better said, there's a lot of speed that it has to kind of slow down from. So I'm trying to get out of this pack and move to the back to really use these 180 millimeter cannons, and in a start like this, that's difficult. It's not easy. Also, it's got very, very mediocre armor and crew. So, and when I say crew, I don't mean that they're bad crew, of course. I mean, they're good boys. But more so, the problem is that there's just not many of them. And so this is actually quite well armed for a light cruiser. I mean, this is probably on the upper echelon of, I'll try my luck there, of light cruisers. And so it's really, really good in that regard. It's just, unfortunately, again, very lightly armored. So it's just, there's a lot to do with it that just doesn't really, it's not very well balanced. Like, it's not a great overall ship. And a patrol ship is destroying my, it's just wiping out my crew. A destroyer can wipe out my crew easily, which is not good. That's actually quite bad. So there's a lot that's just with this. And in many regards, I would still, I think I mentioned it before, I would still much rather have, wow, okay, I hit him good. But I overpenned because I'm using those shells. But, you know, I would much rather be using the Nuremberg than this. Not that this is a bad ship, it's just the Nuremberg fits my playstyle much better. And I think that this is actually a great ship for people to try their hand. It's almost kind of like a light medium tank in ground forces. And just that it's very potent. It's got great armament, but not all that much in terms of armor. But yeah, I think that this is a great Battle Pass vehicle insofar as, you know, this is what you can use to get your challenges done. I think it's actually quite competent in that role. It's a great hit and run ship. I mean, look how fast. You might not think it's fast, but that's actually a pretty decent turret traverse, especially for cannons this big. I mean, it's got 9 cannons and 3 turrets of 180 millimeters. And albeit it's an reload speed, but it's pretty good regardless. So, you know, it turns well. I mean, even after a full turn, this thing travels about as fast as many light cruisers if they're about to hit max speed. So this is a very speedy aircraft. It's got good anti-air capabilities. Again, I don't really know if it's a 5.7. I think once you consider everything, you could definitely make a very strong a little high. You could definitely make a very strong argument for this being a 5.7. And I think it's, upon further play, it's probably accurate. One could say 5.3. I wouldn't be too opposed to that. But really, that's only because it just does not have the armor, in my opinion, to be really a great ship at 5.7. But that raises another issue. So the problem right now, as of the recording of this video, is that 5.7 is going to face a lot of currently top tier vehicles. So a good example of this might be like in ground forces. So in ground forces right now, again, as of the recording of this video, we have tanks like the M1A2, Leopard 2A6, or 2A6, I think the 2PL, if I'm not mistaken, and some other, actually maybe not the 2PL anymore, but some other tanks where it's like, okay, if I were to use my Leopard 2K, or better, more accurately, like an IPM-1, which sits at 10.0, I'm only going to be placed into matches at 10.7, because that's, you know, what it, like, that's just, there's such a glut at the top of that BR bracket where, oh wow, nice. There's such a glut at the top of that BR bracket where it's not like this can't perform against them because it has the arms, it has really good cannons. It's more so that it'll just have a tough time defending against them. And you find that a lot at top tier, like an IPM-1 with the top APF SDS can actually do quite well. Ugh, I hate when I do that. Whoa, that was a close call. It can actually do quite well versus a top tier tank. I mean, it's not going to do as well as, like, let's say in M1A2, but it still does quite well. And this is kind of the same thing. It has the arms component, not the armor component. And because it is at that top tier again right now, where it's kind of mixed in with so many of these really tough to kill vehicles, battle cruisers, some of the best heavy cruisers like the Prinz Eugen, the Graf Spee, for example, it just has a real tough go of it in that it cannot take hits. So in this case, I'm just going to start randomly firing off some torpedoes and hope I get a few hits. But yeah, I mean, in this case, it's a really fun ship. Oh, wow, I've run aground real bad here. I've not run aground like that ever. It's a real good ship. It's just, you know, you're facing a lot of really good ships versus this. And I don't really know if that's going to change much, especially in the near future, just being that the general rule of thumb is that in this game, we're not seeing a ton of improvement, really, in, or not, I wouldn't say improvement, but ships just are not being developed as quickly, and a lot of it's because the models are very difficult to create, and I get it. They're so much more difficult to make than I would imagine like a P-39 or something. And in that regard, I'm not going to fault Gaijin for not having the Bismarck out, for example. But, you know, there's just a whole bunch of things that kind of contributes to this not being all that great overall. And it doesn't have to, I don't think it's that this is a bad ship, but more so just that maybe its time isn't right. Not right now, at least. You could argue that. Maybe like once the BRs become a little bit more decompressed, once more ships are added, once this isn't constantly facing or being up-tiered, like once 5.7 is the up-tier, right, and this faces a lot of down-tiered vehicles, I think its survivability is going to go way up. And that will contribute to this being an excellent, excellent ship. And I think it's a great ship. Again, oh, I'm dead. So, yeah, anyways, this is the last match I'm playing. But I think that this is a great ship regardless of whatever you see in terms of, you know, survivability or anything else. It's just a really good ship. It just dies really, really quickly. It has no torpedo protection. It has hardly any crew protection. Like, you put this thing up against a destroyer and it will be wiped out quickly. Whereas if you're in the Nuremberg, for example, again, that's my favorite light cruiser, it doesn't really get killed. I mean, you'll get killed if, you know, if you let him fire on you and he has APHE, but it's just not nearly as quickly. More shells will deflect. They won't pen. You know the deal. Either way, this is Tank Design. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. It all means the absolute world to me. But either way, see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone, and, well, das vidanya.